The town of Ferdinand is looking into affordable housing options. More on that. Plus, another option has been unveiled for swimming facilities in Jasper. And Purdue Extension agent Jan Dugan talks summer garden zucchini tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, Jasper and Huntingburg have already begun looking into affordable housing, and now Ferdinand is set to join the mix. Last night, the Ferdinand Town Council heard from Brad Brosmer of Promising Properties concerning a proposal for housing. Brosmer laid out a two-phase plan for adding apartments onto his apartment complex in the 600 block of 9th Street. The first phase could add between 8 and 16 additional units, while the second phase could add between 24 and 28 units. Brosmer says the general need for housing is what drove him to come up with his proposal. He is hopeful that his efforts will lead to other residential building projects in Ferdinand.
It should. There's definitely the need for housing. I think it's very well documented in the area. So there's definitely going to be new jobs coming in. So hopefully we can bring new people in and have some homes for them.
Brosmer would get a residential abatement from the town for this project. There is a catch in the process, however. The town will have to relaunch its Economic Development Commission. Town Council President Ken Seacard says the commission has been dormant for several years as there wasn't a need for it to be active. He says restarting the commission would be beneficial not only for this project, but others.
Now all of a sudden, hey, here's a group of people that can get together and work with us to go out and do some, talking to people, working with people. In the long run, maybe take a little pressure off of the town council, and from there we can go and just see what it will bring, and I think it'll be a very positive thing.
The commission would consist of 3 members appointed by the town council. The council voted to restart the commission and begin looking for people to serve. Anyone who lives in or near Ferdinand that is interested in being on the commission can talk to one of the town council members. Also last night, the council approved sending a town representative to a conference on managing floodplain development. The town recently received a letter from FEMA stating that they have until October 16th to turn in any materials relating to the town's plans for managing floodplains. Seacard says a lot of progress has already been made on that issue.
Most of our flood problems are not actually happening in places where we're in the floodplain. Working with FEMA on the floodplain issue to the north of town, we have a lot of land that sits low that it will flood, according to them, in up to 100-year flood stage. You have to, address that. We've worked with them on their mapping process and everything. We're in the process of making some final changes to our ordinance that relates to all of that.
In final notes, the council heard about further plans to honor the life of Michael Beglin. Police Chief Ricky Patton told the council that a truck convoy will be going through town beginning at 9 o'clock Friday morning as a tribute to Beglin. Patton says 10 trucks are expected to take part, though more than that may wind up participating. Beglin was murdered back on June 26th in Detroit while delivering a load of aluminum coils to a ThyssenKrupp steel plant on the city's west side. A fourth option for the future of swimming facilities in Jasper has now been unveiled. Last night, the Jasper Park Board heard a presentation from Kevin Post with project consultant Councilman Hunsaker. The presentation of the fourth option last night comes after 3 options were presented at last month's Park Board meeting. Now, out of the original 3 options that were presented, folks were most in favor of option 2 with a few modifications. The fourth option presented by Post called for a 16,500 square foot multi-purpose pool, 6 50-meter swimming lanes, multiple water slides, a spray feature, and a current channel. Those modifications to option 2 did drive the price tag up a bit. The price came out to $4.7 million without any site improvements like parking. The site improvements drove the cost up to $6.7 million. Jasper Parks Director Ken Buck says he expects that people will continue to support new swimming facilities despite possible cost increases.
I think they're starting to get behind it. We haven't had a lot of negative comments on the pool yet. I think most of the people are very interested in this. Again, our pool is almost 60 years old, and we're going to have to do something for the aquatic people in the city of Jasper here.
The park board will be gathering more public input prior to deciding on any of the 4 options. Buck says that could take on the form of another public meeting or even phone surveys, though nothing has been decided there. In other notes, the board approved budgeting $20,000 for work on a new dog park. The park would be set up at Gutzweiler Park on Jasper's north side. The money would go towards the construction of a parking lot for folks who want to use the new dog park. If the Jasper City Council approves, work on the new park could get underway this fall. Sentencing for all of those connected with the December shooting of a Washington teen is now complete. Earlier this week, 19-year-old Heaven Berry was sentenced to 5 years in the Indiana Department of Corrections. 3 of those years will be suspended under an order issued by the judge. Now, Berry was being investigated for her actions following the December 6th shooting of 17-year-old Devin Burris. 18-year-old Logan Evans fatally shot Burris during an attempted drug deal in the early morning hours that day. Police say Berry invited Evans to stay at her apartment after finding out about the shooting on Facebook. According to court documents, Berry texted friends in an attempt to get both her and Evans out of Washington once Evans arrived at her apartment. Police stated those text messages are what led them to Berry's apartment in the first place. Berry and Evans both turned themselves into police the following day. Now, 4 other people have already been charged and sentenced in this case. Evans is serving a 45-year prison sentence after pleading guilty on murder charges. 19-year-old Lucas Benjamin is serving 30 years in prison for his role in the attempted drug deal that led to the shooting. Meanwhile, 28-year-old Craig Street and 29-year-old Donald Cruckton were also sentenced in connection with this case. Both men accompanied Burris to the failed drug deal and attempted to rob Benjamin, which led to the shooting. The top production at a Spencer County theater has received a high-profile endorsement. The Indiana Bicentennial Commission has endorsed Lincoln Amphitheater's A Lincoln, A Pioneer Tale as one of its legacy projects for 2016. Lincoln Amphitheater Executive Director Dan Wilkinson says the upcoming Indiana Bicentennial celebration offers a great chance to remind folks of Abraham Lincoln's role in Indiana history. He says Lincoln's arrival in December of 1816 also coincided with Indiana officially becoming a state. Lincoln's family settled in the area near present-day Lincoln City in northern Spencer County. Lincoln lived in Indiana from when he was 7 years old up to the time when he was 21. The Lincoln Family Farm and other Lincoln historic sites are currently located inside of Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial and Lincoln State Park. A Lincoln, A Pioneer Tale is currently running Wednesday through Saturday evenings. The play concludes its annual run on Saturday, July 26th. A matinee performance is scheduled for Sunday, August 13th. The evening performances start at 7:30 p.m. and the matinee performance is set for 2 p.m. All times are Central Time. For more information, you can call 800-264-4ABE. You can also go online to lincolnamphitheater.org. A current Northeast DuBois High School student is set to take part in a national competition. Sophomore Trey Weininger has earned a spot on the Indiana State National High School Rodeo team. He and his team will be going out to Rock Springs, Wyoming next week to compete in the 66th Annual National High School Finals Rodeo. Weininger will take part in the saddle bronc and bull riding competition out there. Now, the NHSFR is the world's largest rodeo. It features more than 1,500 contestants from 42 different states. Participants also hail from 5 Canadian provinces and even as far away as Australia. There is a lot on the line in this competition. Participants are competing for more than $200,000 in prizes, more than $350,000 in available scholarship money, and the chance to be named as an NHSFR National Champion. Participants must finish in the top 20 based on combined times and scores from the first 2 rounds of competition in order to advance to the championship round. National champions are then crowned based on their combined times and scores from all 3 rounds. Now, you will be able to see some of the competition on television. The championship round will be televised on RFD TV. You can also keep track of how Trey is doing in the competition by going online to nhsratv.com. Finally this evening, a familiar face to Indiana's political landscape may be running for governor in 2016. Former governor and U.S. Senator Evan Bayh is pondering a run for a 3rd term as governor in the next gubernatorial election. Bayh served as governor of Indiana from 1989 to 1997. Prior to his election, Republicans held the governor's office for 20 years. At age 32 when elected, Bai was the youngest governor in America at the time. He left office with a staggering 80% approval rating. He first entered the U.S. Senate in 1999 by defeating current Senator Dan Coates. After Bai decided not to seek re-election in late 2010, Coates defeated Democratic nominee Brad Ellsworth to regain his seat. Now, some experts are saying the state Democrats can't wait too much longer for Bai to make his decision due to money. The last time that an incumbent governor was unseated in Indiana was back in 2004. That year, Republican Mitch Daniels defeated incumbent Democrat Joe Kernan in a campaign that saw each side spend a combined total of $31 million. Democrats are looking to Bai in the wake of rumors surrounding current Governor Mike Pence potentially running for president in 2016. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Jan Dugan. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.